he's getting. He's huge. What's up, food geek? Chef Nikki here. He be barking. Can I talk? What's up, food geeks? Chef Nikki here, back with another episode of Nikki Talks Food. Today we're gonna go over some of my favorite kitchen tools that I just can't live without, and they're just some small little tools. Some of them I sell on my website, some of them I'm gonna encourage you guys to shop local, and then some I will say get online. Before we begin, I want you to go ahead and smash that subscribe button, hit the little bell so you know when I'm posting again, and as always, leave a comment down below and give me a thumbs up. I'm a small-time YouTube channel trying to be a big-time YouTube channel, so go ahead and show me some support by clicking subscribe. So first things first, the first thing I'm gonna tell you that you definitely need is a really good knife. I am super duper into these Shun knives. They stay sharp for a long time. They're a Japanese company, so they're made of Japanese steel. VG, who can say that? VG Max Damascus. So what Damascus steel is, it's a couple types of steel that are kind of like twisted together as the knife is forged, and that makes these like tiger stripes almost. So the first thing that you want to look for when you're buying a knife is you want to make sure that it is full tang. That means that it's one type of metal throughout the entire construction of the knife, from the tip all the way to the bottom of the handle. If not, what happens is the blade can snap off of the handle, and after wear and tear, I've seen it happen before in real life. I was like, ah, whatever, and then I actually saw it and I was like, okay, I'm never buying a knife again that is not full tang. So you can feel the weight of it. It's a good weight of a knife. You should be keeping it sharp. That brings me to the second thing that you definitely need in your kitchen. This is called a honing steel. It does not sharpen the blade, but it does straighten the blade. And to keep your knife blades healthy and as sharp as they can be, you're gonna wanna use a steel at least once a week. You don't need to use it every day if you're not chopping a whole lot, but the chef knife tends to be the workhorse of the kitchen. This is my go-to knife. This is an 8-inch chef knife. I use it for everything. You know, I'll use a smaller knife like a paring knife or a boning knife for each of those types of tasks, but if I'm just chopping vegetables, I'm gonna use a chef knife. So to keep it sharp and the blade straight, because over time what will happen is as I'm cutting my vegetables or chopping whatever it is I'm chopping, the blade will become kind of jagged like this. So the way that we fix that is we run the knife along the steel. By running our knife on the steel, it'll straighten our blade so that it's nice and sharp. So get yourself a good knife. Click twice to make sure they work. The next thing I like to talk about is tongs. You want to get a good pair of tongs. I actually sell these on my website, chefnikki.net. And these are I only sell stuff that I would use myself, and I will probably have these tongs in my kitchen for 20 years at least, because they're nice and strong. They don't have that metal that's like kind of like wobbly, you know. They're a really good steel, so they don't pinch your fingers, and you can beat these guys up forever and they're gonna last. So good pair of tongs. Also, I'm kind of a rubber spatula fanatic. I prefer the restaurant grade kind. I believe in buying good equipment and then you don't have to replace it over and over and over again. So these are heat resistant, I think up to 500 degrees for the actual rubber spatula part. The handle is not. I've seen plenty of these burst into flames when I was teaching culinary school. So you know, you can't really leave this part on a burner or anything like that. But if you take care of this rubber spatula, you will have this for, you know, 20 years as well. You know, they wear down after a while, like they'll discolor and stuff like that. The rubber will dry out as well, but it's better than replacing, you know, a cheap one, you know, every year or so that's gonna melt into your sauce and things like that. So this is definitely worth investing in. They're only a couple of bucks. They're not super expensive, but I oftentimes will stir sauces and things like that. I will grab a rubber spatula just like this, and I am like really picky. I like this exact type of spatula. There are many brands, but they look like this. It has the like orange handle or like a burnt orange handle, and you know, the heat resistant actual rubber spatula part to I think like 500 degrees. The next thing I want to talk about is you got to make sure that you have a really good thermometer. This one I bought online. It is pretty simple. It's water resistant. I think it's waterproof actually. But whenever I buy a thermometer, or like a meat thermometer, I always make sure that I can wash it. So it needs to be at least water resistant, if not waterproof, but also that you can adjust it. So I can calibrate this thermometer, because if they don't stay in calibration forever, you have to calibrate them. So I would just simply, you know, pull out the probe, stick this in some ice water, more ice than water, and then I can calibrate it when it hits to 32. I know that it's right, and then I can trust this thing. So I live and die by the thermometer. I use this thing for everything. When I cook chicken, I make sure it's 165 degrees, that way it's safe, and also so that I don't overcook stuff, because fish only has to cook to 145 degrees. If you cook it longer than 145 degrees, you're probably just drying it out. You know, some of us have a really great spidey sense, and that's awesome. But I recommend getting a kitchen thermometer just so that you know where you're at and you can kind of learn your meat temperatures. And I will put the meat cooking temperatures right here and a random fireball right there. But learning those meat temperatures will make you such a better cook. And if pork is overcooked, it's dry. Nobody wants that. And so you make the juiciest pork by cooking it to the correct temperature. Next up on my kitchen gadgets that I love to use is, this is called a bench scraper. This is like a couple of bucks. I got this at my local restaurant supply store, Brown's Kitchen Center. It has a wooden handle because it looks all old school, but it actually was very cheap. And this guy, every time I make dough, and I make dough a lot, whether it's bread or pasta, so you gotta have one of these things. It's also really convenient for when you're moving vegetables. So if I chop a bunch of vegetables, I can scoop them up like this. It does not have a sharp edge, so I'm not worried about cutting my hand, and then I move it to wherever it is that I need it to go to. Fish spatula. I love this thing. Even if you're not making fish, what's fantastic about this is it has kind of like a sharp edge. You can see that. It's a little sharp, and it's also flexible. So if I want to get something that, you know, when I use my cast iron skillet, if something is sticking, you know, then I can lift that thing off of the skillet without breaking it up. Fish is one of those things. That's what this is made for. But let's say it's a cheeseburger. I mean, you can squeeze it down like that. Let's say you made blue cheese burgers, like you mix the blue cheese inside and it's sticking because cheese sticks to everything, right? You could just put that fish spatula and you'll be able to lift off that meat or whatever it is you're cooking, and it stays perfect. You can pick this up at your local restaurant supply store. You can get it online, but this thing's amazing. Rolling pin, I'm super into the French pin. I actually got this at a craft market, and this is made from a piece of magnolia tree and then waxed with butcher wax. It's kind of like a unique thing, so, you know, obviously I don't expect you guys to be able to run out and get one of these, but I like the style. I don't really go for the ones with the handles. That's an American style rolling pin. I feel like you have more control, you know? And also water gets into those rolling pins and then it'll sometimes rust, and then you get rusty stuff everywhere and they just go bad. So this thing I'll probably have it forever. So, you know, this is called a French style rolling pin, French pin. So that's just a few of my favorite things. And if you guys have noticed, I also have these shirts for sale. Definitely gonna need a Nikki Talks Food Geek shirt. So on the back, it also has the Pro Seasoning logo. So I sell these on my website, chefnikki.net. You guys definitely want to be a part of the club because we're food geeks, we love food. So check out my website, chefnikki.net, where you can get these awesome t-shirts. They're black, they're 100% cotton, they're super comfortable, they're badass. Also, another thing that every kitchen needs is Pro Seasoning. So this is Pro Seasoning. This is my go-to all-purpose blend. It does not have any sugar, no anti-caking agents, and it is made with Himalayan pink salt. It's got the good stuff in it. I sell this at chefnikki.net. I put this on everything, and this is the secret to my success and happy mouths. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like my show, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the little bell so you know when I'm posting again. As always, leave a comment below. I want to know what your favorite kitchen gadgets are. Let me know what you guys keep in your kitchen that you just can't live without. I live stream every Thursday on my Facebook page, Nikki Talks Food, at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every week, I sell a meal kit in partnership with Red Eye Coffee, and the ingredients are raw, and it is a cook-along. So I cook exactly what you cook. It's fantastic. If you live here in Tallahassee, I'll really encourage you to pick one of our boxes up. You can go to my Facebook page, Nikki Talks Food, and you can reserve yours today. We have them every week, and we try to work with local farms to provide farm fresh ingredients. I want to encourage everyone to stay safe. Make sure that you are still self-quarantining, you're wearing masks, and let's be kind to each other above all. Everyone's stressed out right now, retailers are stressed out, and we should remember kindness in our hearts. So I want to encourage you guys to really bring love to those around you. When you feel like fighting, just kind of count to 10 and, share the love and try to empathize with people around you. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys.